What's going on, people? How you guys doing, man? Rendog Extreme back with another video, and what I do want to talk about is the NBA playoffs. So that's what I'm going to shoot you about. The NBA playoffs around the corner. It's actually this weekend, so I decided to spice things up a little bit and decided to feed you in on the scoop, kind of on what's going on with the playoffs and what my predictions are and who do you think is going to win it all. But it's not going to be. It's going to be painfully, it may be painfully obvious because I don't want to say anything or jinx it, but it's going to be. LeBron James and the Cavaliers are going to be going to the NBA Finals. They're going to be storming out of the first round against Indiana, storm out of the second round against Toronto, Milwaukee. Probably be Toronto, and the beatdown's probably going to be a bit worse, but with LeBron being experienced and being at the level he's at, he can play the way he does. Because with the Celtics clinching the conference, I gotta say, yeah, they're gonna be the weak first seed, but this is their chance to show up as the huge underdogs. They're gonna be the underdogs in this playoff because, yes, they're not a great number one seed. They're not as exciting, but they're a well put together team, a well coached team. So what I gotta say is Danny H does know what he's doing, but he knows that he's in void of a bigger star. So hopefully he continues. I don't know if he's gonna continue building through the draft or continue building through free agents or getting a big guy on the team to finally, you know, build that equalizer to face LeBron James. Because I feel like that's what most of the Eastern Conference teams are in void of, an equalizer, quite frankly. So what I gotta say to that is that, you know, yeah, LeBron James is probably going to storm back into the NBA Finals, and then the Western Conference is going to be his real competition, but, who knows from there. So, just going to talk about the first round, Boston, I think, is going to win in 6. Chicago's going to be a bit of competition for them, especially with Rondo facing his former team, the Celtics. Especially now it's going to be the new and revamped Celtics, the new Celtics, you know. And yeah, the Celtics are because they're probably gonna struggle as a top seed. They haven't made it past the first round ever since getting Brad Stevens on the team. And then on top of that, this is the new Celtics. They're not the super team Celtics, so they are gonna be the underdog because they're not a real super team. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. They're not a super team like the Cavs are. Cavs in Indiana, I think it's gonna be good. Cavs are definitely gonna take this one. Indiana is gonna be the underdogs because LeBron is not. They're not the real underdogs. So let's just say that, yeah, like they're playing possum. They're just getting the journalists and people to count them out. But when it comes to the playoffs, I know he's gonna show up. So I'm not surprised to that. Toronto, Milwaukee, I think it's gonna be good. Milwaukee's always this average team. They're not always gonna be this strong super team like they were in 2001 at one point. But maybe 90s they were really good. I'm not exactly sure, or I don't really remember because I was a kid. But ever since I started watching, Bucks were always this average team or this subpar terrible team that knows how to build through the draft, and then the next year they can have a really good year. But Jason Kidd's been doing some work with this newly revamped Milwaukee Bucks. But Toronto, I think Toronto is going to advance again. I'll be surprised if there was an upset somewhere there, but the Bucks could sneak by, but I think Toronto's going to take it. And then Cleveland will probably beat them down again. Washington, Atlanta, I think Washington, that's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be great to watch because Atlanta has some flaws themselves. Washington has some flaws. Washington don't really have a good bench, but their bench improved regarding the backcourt. But front court, I'm not really sure. But the Hawks definitely finally regrouped and finally, became a 43-win team because they were a struggling team. I looked like I kind of was dreading the fact that they could have been counted out, but unfortunately they weren't as counted out. But with the talent they have, with Dwight Howard kind of weighing the team down, but still have that talent there, the Hawks do have a chance against Washington because both of them do have struggling issues. But how the Washington's been striving through, I think they do have a chance to advance. They still have a great depth team, even though they don't have the same depth team they have with Nene and those players. They looked like they were going to be counted out, but they kind of storm into the playoff picture the way they have. But Scott Brooks doing a great job, so I'm glad for them. So that's what I have for the Eastern Conference. And now for the Western Conference, I have to say, who the heck saying that Blazers are gonna win the series in 6 or even 7? I kind of question that. I don't really see an upset happening at all. If Portland couldn't beat the Golden State Warriors in the regular season, how in the blue blazing would they possibly win the first round in the playoffs? Unless they figure them out at some point. But I don't see an upset happening. Maybe Utah, but Clippers, they're going to get annihilated by Golden State. Because, yeah, the rivalry did happen when it was still young Stephen Curry, not Chef Curry or Steph Curry. You know, because during the regular season, the Warriors always annihilate the Clippers. So Clippers have no chance, no snowball chance in heck that the Clippers are going to go to the conference finals. The Jazz maybe because they have a great defense, but if the Warriors can outpower that, then they're going to the conference finals. So Clippers and Jazz are going to be my favorite matchup because it's going to be even. You know, Chris Paul against a veteran George Hill with great knowledge. Chris Paul, a veteran himself. And then, of course, you have Jamal Crawford, great off the bench. And then another big bench player, you know, the Jazz have. They have a good in Joe Johnson and good in maybe Joe Ingles. But Dante Exum, great defender. Great defender. I love watching him. He's so great. Great to play against. Well, I play the Jazz in 2K17, so that's how I know the team so well. And then with Gordon Hayward against... who's the forward for the Clippers? J.J. Redick? Yeah, J.J. Redick. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. So, Gordon Hayward, I think, is going to be a great boost for the Jazz. Rudy Gobert and Favors becoming the face of the defense. DeAndre Jordan becoming the face of the Clippers defense as well. Blake Griffin, great offensive all-around player. And, yeah, that's what I got to say to that. I think it's going to be a bit interesting. So, yeah, I can't wait for that. Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce is going to be a great player. It's going to be his final run. So I'll be intrigued with how this goes. OKC and Houston is going to be another great matchup. Russell Westbrook practically carrying the team on his back. And gratefully for him, he played all those seasons. Because if Russell Westbrook somehow got injured, yeah, they would be in big trouble. But OKC was still somehow hang in there. But they're not going to be as great because last time they were below 500 was in the 2008-2009 season. That was like their inaugural season in Oklahoma City with 29 wins. But however, with Russell Westbrook kind of, you know, becoming the face of the team and carrying them, and they got some acquaintance with Doug McDermott and Josh Gibson. They have Ola Oladipo, of course. Ola Oladipo, you know, with Victor Oladipo, you know, becoming a good talent as well. They do have talent hanging in there. And Steven Adams and Cantor, yeah, they're great. And Cantor, offensive-minded center, so it's going to be a good offensive showdown between OKC and Houston with James Harden, Nene, and Eric Gordon. So Houston did have some good acquaintances after losing Howard, but yeah, it's going to be great. Spurs and Memphis Grizzlies is going to be another interesting season. It's probably not going to be like the 2011 series when Memphis knocked out San Antonio, made one of the biggest upsets. And yeah, San Antonio had some injuries on the team, but they still hung in there. But Memphis still knocked them out, and then took OKC to overtime. Yo, that was a great series. Memphis and OKC. I was behind Memphis all the way to go to their first conference finals. That was their chance, but they didn't make it till I think 2 years later. And then they got swept by San Antonio, so San Antonio did quite have some retribution. But I'm thinking with the newly revamped Spurs, like Greg Popovich, who has that great no-nonsense head coaching mentality, you know, it's going to get the job done. Like, with Tim Duncan gone and then Pau Gasol still a fresh, good player, and I think he's very overlooked. Like, this could have been the new big three, Kawhi, LaMarcus, and Pau Gasol. Like, I think Pau Gasol's getting way too overlooked because it's like, this is the chance to really look at the talent that he still has, even though he's in his 30s now. So, yeah, he's kind of past his prime, but he still can hang with them. He can still hang with the big boys. So, you know, Kawhi becoming the face of the franchise slowly. It's a slow burn for him. But, yeah, he did win the NBA Finals MVP indeed. That was awesome, but I have to say, like, yeah, I really have to say, like, Memphis is gonna put a tear down on San Antonio, but San Antonio is gonna hang in there. So I'll be surprised if there was an upset there, but I still don't see that happen because Spurs are a complete different team now, more revamped, more rejuvenated. Memphis, same, but they kind of fell off the rails. But they're the team that probably were one of the first teams to beat Golden State, come back by 20 points on the road against the Warriors. So I'm intrigued with how Memphis happened. Yeah, Warriors got retribution against the Grizzlies and annihilated them and kind of put the stamp on their lead. But San Antonio with the new team, I'm intrigued with how far they're going to go because this is a new thing. Tim Duncan retiring, and now Spurs have been a little bit rejuvenated. They got a new veteran, Pau Gasol, so I'll see what happens from there. And Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili still kind of holding the fort down, but Patty Mills is slowly burning his way up there, so there could be a chance. I'm hoping there's a new big three because we had the big three in Parker, Ginobili, and Duncan, so I'm excited about that. So yeah, I'm intrigued with how this is going to go. I'm just talking about the first round, and then maybe I'm going to talk about the semis, but we know it may come down to Golden State and San Antonio, because San Antonio may knock off Houston or OKC. I don't know what's going to happen, but OKC Houston's going to be an interesting matchup. I'm kind of nervous about the prediction, but I don't know. The season ending was underwhelming, but it helps you be more rested, more excited for the playoffs. So it's great. You save your energy for the playoffs because the playoffs is kind of where things are going to start happening, sparks start flying, and then it's going to come down to the wire. So that's what I got to say to that. So sorry if my video was long, but I'm just talking about the playoffs and hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.